All right, hello and welcome, guys. Now, this is going on Facebook Live as well, but for whatever reason, it's having some technical issues. But either way, I am recording this and I will post it on all the groups later on. Okay, give me a second. Let's try that again. So you guys should be able to see me. You can hear me clearly now. Let me know on the chat. Marina in the house, Italia, Christina, bomba, bomba, bomba. Awesome. So guys, for those of you guys that don't know me, maybe you're watching a recorded version of this webinar. I'm going to be teaching you how to become a master promoter. My name is Efrosyni Adamides. I have been with World Ventures for 10 years now. And it's the one skill that I've learned to master over the last few years, because I remember when I met my mentor 10 years ago, and he said, look, if there's 2 skills that you master, there's 4 major skills you need to learn. But if there's 2 skills that you need to master to make serious money in this business, 1 is inviting, 2 is promoting. Now, I've mastered those skills, and over the last few years, well, created a lot of success stories, 32 first-time millionaires in our organization, tons and tons of people making anything from 7 figures, 6 figures, 5 figures, and so on, especially mastering those 2 skills. Now, before we rock and roll, if you got one of these distractions, please put it on silent. Unless you're taking notes with it, put it in airplane mode, because I'm telling you, you don't want to be distracted with this. This skill is where it's going to create huge multiplication in your organization. So take your notes out, take out a piece of paper and a pen. So I talked about 4 skills to start with. I will tell you what those 4 skills are, but for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to cover 1 of these 4 skills, okay? So the 4 skills you need to learn in order to be a master at network marketing is inviting, presenting, closing or enrolling, getting people started, getting them off to the fast start, and training, getting people to training. Training has got a couple of sections to it. One is either getting people to training or also doing on-the-job training. I'm going to teach you how to become a master at getting bums on seats at the big events. Promoting is a skill that I've learned from my mentor, Johnny Wimbry. If there's one person that I believe is the master of promoting, is Johnny Wimbry. If you don't know who Johnny Wimbry is, well, imagine this. Johnny has actually worked with the likes of Les Brown. Les Brown is one of the top speakers in the whole world. Les Brown has spoken to crowds of hundreds of thousands all at the same time. He's a very well-respected speaker, and he's been speaking for, I believe, he's in his 70s now, okay? So he's been speaking for at least 45, close to 50 years, okay? And Johnny Wimbry has learned from Les Brown. Now, Johnny Wimbry, to give you an idea, before World Ventures, had his own, was just about to launch his own show in Hollywood called The Johnny Show. He was already a speaker, very successful speaker, charging thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go and do like a 30-minute speech. For 30 minutes, he would charge thousands of dollars. He was a celebrity life coach. So he was actually coaching stars in Hollywood. He was living in Hollywood when I first met him. Now, To learn from someone like him, I have never seen anybody literally promote to a full room and literally the majority of the room book for the next event. He's a master at that. So a lot of the things that I've learned over the years, guys, I've learned from the people that are the best of the best at what they do. People like Mark Osetta, our director of training. People like Johnny Wimbry, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, in this fourth skill of promoting, here's the thing that I want to highlight to you. You need to get good at selling the sizzle, not the steak. For example, imagine if, let's say, for example, that you go to a restaurant and you turn around and you say to the waiter, look, I want to get a really good steak. Which one do you recommend? You should get the T-bone steak because the T-bone steak is got certain strips of meat in it, so it doesn't become very chewy, and it's got a bone in the center of it, and because it has a bone in the center of it, we cut it quite thick so you get a good piece of steak. Now, if the waiter was telling you that, how many of you would really get excited about ordering the piece of steak? You don't get excited when someone describes something to you and they tell you the features of something. If you want to go buy a television, if you want to go buy a mobile phone, okay, and you went to a guy that sells mobile phones, right? And he's trying to sell this to you. And he's saying to you, well, what's really cool about this iPhone 10 is that the screen is, 8 centimeters by 5 centimeters. And, it's not too big, so you can hold it into your hand. And what it also does is that it has certain applications that help to take the light out of your pictures. And because it takes the light out of your pictures, you take good pictures. And if a salesperson was telling that to me, I'd be falling asleep. But if you got a salesperson and you're trying to buy this phone, here's how someone else could sell the phone. This phone, you know what's really cool? What's the number one challenge people have? The other phones were too big, and when you're trying to talk on your mobile phone, it's just, this big chunky phone. This fits right into your hands. Okay, I'll tell you what's really cool about it as well. The camera is state of the art. I'm telling you, this camera, you don't need to carry a camera anymore. You literally have the best of the best camera in your telephone. So you can take portrait. When people see the photographs that you're going to take with this camera, they'll think you're a professional photographer. And this phone, you know what's really cool about it? It's a statement. It's the iPhone 10. It's the latest leading edge technology. It's got a smart system involved in it that literally tracks what you spend your time on. And it optimizes your screen to give you the things that you're looking for. Now, do you see the difference? The difference is I've sold the benefits the first way, and people don't want to hear benefits. They want to hear what's in it for them. I'm going to write this down, okay? This is the only radio station that people are tuned into. It's called WIIFM. What's in it for them? What's in it for them? In other words, the only thing that people listen to when you're speaking to them is, what am I going to gain from this? If I buy this phone, what am I going to gain from it? You talk about the flexibility. You talk about the pictures that you're going to help you take, those capturing those moments. That's what they care about. They don't care about the features of the phone. They don't care that the battery is going to last 7.5 hours. They don't care about that. They care about what's in it for them. Now, what's selling a phone got to do with promoting events? It's exactly the same thing. See, I'm going to tell you what promoting is, and what promoting is different. So you become a master at promoting. Here's what promoting is not. Sending a message to such, training coming up. Go, here is the link. Tick. That is not promoting. Sending someone a message is not promoting, especially if you're saying, here's a training. Here's what your team hears when you tell them there's a training coming up. They hear two things. I gotta go sit in a boring room and learn from someone talking at me. And on top of that, I have to pay money for this. That's what people hear. That's why people give you excuses as to why they cannot go to training. See, the thing is, when you're promoting, the main thing you need to understand, because people are listening to what's in it for them, when you're promoting, always remember what their goal is when they started with World Ventures. So if, let's say, for example, I'm speaking to, I don't know, Justina, okay? And one of Justina's goal was, she's a young mother. She wanted to create the kind of freedom that she can show her son the world, to be able to travel the world with her son, to show him all the beautiful sights around the world, not from history books, but to see them with his own eyes, and to spend the quality of time with her son. So if I'm promoting an event to Justina, well, the first thing I'm going to say to her, Justina, do you remember when you told me that you wanted to create the kind of lifestyle where you're able to travel the world and show your son exactly the historical places, to see them with his own eyes rather than read about them in storybooks? Well, guess what? The person that is actually coming over to train in your market in the next couple of weeks, she's doing exactly that. She's a mother like you. In fact, she's a mother of 3 kids. Now, her background, she used to work full-time in the army. And she worked full-time in the army. She left the army after 20 years, wanted to create something to give her freedom, but she had a job. She saw this concept and she ran like crazy. And in 12 months, she hit the level of regional marketing director level, which is average $10,000 a month. And I'm telling you, she's showing her 3 kids the world right now. And to give you an idea, now she's the first IMD in all of Australia, and she's going to be in your backyard to show you exactly what she did step by step to create this kind of freedom. And when I was hearing her story, because her name is Lou Hardy, when I was hearing Lou's story, I thought of you straight away. Now, this training is actually happening in France, and it's on the 13th of July. And I mean, I'll tell you what's crazy. How much would you pay, Justina? How much would you pay to sit in front of someone that has achieved exactly what you want to achieve? Not only that, then to teach you everything they learned in order to achieve it. How much is that worth to you? I mean, could it be worth, if let's say you get the ultimate freedom, could it be worth 10% of the money that you could be making at the level of marketing director in 1 month? Now, the average marketing director, guys, the average marketing director, $5,000 a month. To someone, could it be worth 10% in a month by learning from someone that's actually at IMD level? Guess what most people are going to tell you? Yeah, that would be worth $500. Well, you know what's crazy? It's not 10%. It's 1%. It's $50 right now. So let me show you the details. Let me get you booked. Now, some of you realize what I did then. Some of you, maybe you haven't realized. So I want to go through the steps. And the way that I promote, guys, okay, I have one thing in mind and I have 3 steps. okay? So the one thing that I have in mind is that I have in mind what I said to you earlier, which is what their goal is. I literally make it in terms of when I'm talking to someone that because I know what their goal is, this is why I'm recommending them this particular event. Now let me ask you guys, on a serious note, if you really wanted to achieve freedom, doesn't it make sense that you have to go and invest and learn from the people that have already achieved what you want? It's that simple. This is the cool thing about our system. So I have their goal in mind, and I make the training the thing that's going to help them to get there. Because I know that's the secret, okay? So one is what I've done is I've edified the speaker, okay? So write that down. That's step one, is edify the speaker, okay? The second thing is, so I've talked about who Lou Hardy is, okay? Now, I did an example for the regional training that's happening over in France, okay? I'm gonna do the same thing about the view, okay? And I want you to literally pay attention to what I'm doing right now. I'm not saying, well, here's the thing, you see now, when you go to training, the average person that goes to training makes an average of 10 times more money than the people that don't. Yes, this is powerful. This is very powerful about our trainings. Yes, this is true. This is a statistic. But firstly, if I'm saying it in that tone of voice, people fall asleep, okay? Secondly, I'm talking about benefits. I want them to know what's in it for them. So I'm edifying the speaker, okay? I'm sharing their story, because that's the power of edification. Because saying, well, Lou Hardy's an IMD, who cares, okay? The person you're talking to doesn't understand what IMD means, and they're thinking, good for them, okay? But when you say, listen, this person, she's an IMD, that means she's in the 0.01% of the company. That means in terms of the average income of an IMD, they're in the top 5% of the world's population in terms of average income. That's a pretty big deal, okay? So the sizzle, not the steak. So I'm edifying the speaker. That's the first step. Two, I'm sharing the details. So I'm telling them, you know, this event is going to be in France. It's going to be in Montpellier, okay? I hope I pronounced that correctly. And what I've done, and this is very, very important, when you master this one thing, I'm telling you, you're going to get so many more people booked for the events. When you master this one thing, I'm going to tell you now. What I've done is I've built up the value compared to the price. I didn't turn around and say, she's really awesome, you're going to get to this training and it's $50. I think it's $69 or something, 50 euros, whatever, okay? I didn't turn around and say that. What I did is I built up the value so big because I turned around and I said to them, now let me ask you, what if you could go spend the day with this person, and by spending the day with this person, and it helped you achieve your goal, which maybe your goal might be marketing director, okay, which is average $5,000 US a month. And what if, I didn't turn around and say, I'm guaranteeing you're going to do this, because you can't do that, guys, okay? You can't guarantee anybody because the guarantee is them. You don't know whether they're going to put in the effort, right? I'm telling you, what if you could, because it's a possibility, they could. What if you could make that kind of income? Wouldn't it be worth investing 10% of your monthly income at that level to spend the day with that person that will teach you step by step how to achieve it? 10%. In their mind, they're thinking, of course it would be worth 10%, you know, of 1 month paycheck. Of course it would be. So when I talk about the 10% and they get excited about spending 10% of their monthly income on this to learn from someone like Lou, or to learn from someone, one of the other speakers, which I'll talk about shortly. When they do that, then when I tell them the price is so much lower than the value that in their mind, it's a no-brainer, okay? Guys, the problem with the trainings of the company is that they're actually quite cheap. That's the problem. Some of you that haven't been to other personal development and trainings, you don't realize it, okay? I'm telling you, I've spent tens of thousands of pounds going to other seminars by other speakers and didn't get anywhere near the value that we get at World Ventures, okay? So I've edified the speaker, I've shared the details, and then I did a call to action, okay? So, for example, and this is, you gotta bring it to a close, okay? I didn't go, well, look, here's the details, here's the link, and let me know when you book. I don't do that. If I'm promoting, ideally I wanna promote face-to-face or by telephone, okay? Not by message, that's not promoting, okay? That's informing. Informing is not promoting, okay? So I've literally shared the details and I've gone with a call to action where I would say, Justina, great, let's get you booked. And I will literally, the same way I'm signing someone up, I don't give them my website and go, sign yourself up. I don't do that. I say, let's get you started. And I literally, step by step, go through it, and I show them how to get booked. Because what I'm doing with him, they're gonna duplicate. So if you don't do it correctly, they will duplicate that. If you do it correctly, they will duplicate. You guys are with me? So here's the last step when it comes to that. Sometimes you have to overcome some objections. So I'm happy to take any objections right now. Write down in the chat, what are some of the objections that people have given you on why they cannot make it to a training, okay? Write down what are some of the objections that people have given you as to why they can't come to a training. Let me know. Cannot take time off work? Absolutely. So let me address that, okay? No comment. Okay, so let me address that cannot take time off work, and I have 3 of them here in terms of I have no money, so or I can't afford it, which is the same thing, no problem. Okay, so they can't take time off work. This is perfect because I actually could not take the time off work when I first came across the first training. So I see World Ventures on a Sunday. There was a training literally the weekend after in Los Angeles, acceleration. And this training was in Los Angeles. I was living in London. I couldn't take the time off work. In fact, I went to my boss, and when I requested the time off, my boss said to me, listen, we're too busy right now. If you go now, don't bother coming back. Now, this was a very powerful moment for me, guys, because literally the decision was this small. It was in a moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. That's what Tony Robbins says. At that moment, I could make a decision. And the decision could be, I can't afford to lose my job. I mean, some of you know my story. At the time, I had 40,000 pounds of credit card debt. I had a mortgage. I just spent 50,000 pounds launching my own property business. I was in debt up to here. So even though I was making money, money was coming in, going out, and I had overextended myself. So losing my job was very, very, very high risk, okay? But my gut instinct said, why are you building World Ventures? And I was building World Ventures because I wanted freedom. And here's the question that I asked myself, and this is exactly what I ask other people at the same time. I said to myself, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, and I go back to work, and I choose to miss this training, what's the next 12 months gonna look like? And the answer is very simple. The next 12 months are gonna look exactly like the previous 12 months. If I wanted something different, I needed to do something different. So I said to myself, I'm going to take a risk. And I told my boss, I said, look, I'm going to take the time off. It's only 2 days. I hope you understand. But at the same time, if you want to let me go, you can go. You know why? Because my freedom, my why was more important to me than my current circumstances. I want you to understand this. That was me. The question you have to ask other people is the reason you're doing World Ventures more important to you than your current circumstances? Here's the key. If you go to your boss and you say, listen, I have something very, very important that has come up. I need to take a couple of days off, okay? I wish I could explain it, but it's very personal to me, and I wish I could explain more, but I just need to take 2 days off. Can you please help me to make this happen, okay? That's a different energy to going to your boss and saying, can I take a couple of days off? The boss says, no, you can't. Oh, look at that. I tried. Boss said no. Well, you're not fighting for your dreams if you're saying that. You're going to fight for your dreams, because if you don't fight for your dreams, nobody else is going to fight for your dreams. So you as the leader need to speak to them as a leader to get them to step up into that leadership role. Now, it comes down to their why, guys. Okay? So when someone says that to me, I just go, let me ask you something. If in the next 5 years nothing changes in your life, are you cool with that? Most people are going to say no. Great. So let me ask you something. Is it an option for you to not be at this training? Because if it's an option, it's going to be difficult to get the time off. You're not going to be there, and you're going to be 90 days behind. Okay? At the end of the day, I'm not going to make the decision for you. I want to empower you to make the best decision for you. So I hope that helps. Now, so I see another couple of questions here. So in terms of the money, very, very simple, guys, okay? In order to make money, you have to invest money, okay? Nothing happens for nothing, right? It's the same thing. If you were to go launch a business, usually you have this money in order to start a business. And when you start a business, you have to have the cost of running the business. Well, here's the thing that with us, our cost of running our World Ventures business is what? Mobile phone and approximately $1,000 on a yearly basis towards attending all the major events. Momentum, Bootcamp, and The View, and a couple of originals in between. It's approximately $1,000 a year, okay? Plus your traveling expenses, because of course you're having a little holiday at the same time. $1,000, you don't need employees, you don't need an office, no other major expense to run a that can make you millions if you do. Well, let me ask you something. If you were going to make $100,000 from a business, you would need to spend at least $1 million, because most businesses have an average of 10%. So if you wanted to make $100,000 profit, most companies, you'd need to spend $1 million a year. And here, you don't have a couple of $100 to invest towards your future. Let me ask you something. This training, let's talk about The View. The View right now, still $400. We're so grateful that The View right now is still $400. It's going to be $400 for the next few weeks. Let me ask you this. In the last 80 days, 2 months, okay, almost 3 months, 80 days. In the last 80 days, almost 3 months, you have not been able to save $5 a day towards your future. So you don't have $400 to spend towards your future. Well, if you haven't done that in the last 90 days, what are the chances of you putting $5 away for the next 90 days in order to come to The View? What if I said to you, I'm going to give you the keys to a brand new Mercedes that's worth $80,000, and if you come up with $1,000 in the next 60 minutes, that car is yours. How many of you would find the money? I kid you not, guys, every single time, people will be like, I'm going to find the money. I don't know how, but I'll find the money. You know why? Because the value of stuff more than their freedom. Because the stuff is tangible. Do you see what I mean? Well, here's what I always say to them. If you value that, I mean, my last car, which I spent $80,000 to buy, which was a Mercedes, was paid for by World Ventures. So doesn't it make sense to go find a few $100, invest in your future, and get to the level where the company pays for your car? And I have someone that says, what would you say to someone who's telling me, I've already been to 3 international events, you told me my life can be changed, but I don't see any difference. I'm not coming anymore. Here's what I would say, Mariamo. Okay, 2 things. Firstly, the one thing that I would say is that it's not just about coming to the events, it's what you do between the events. If you just come to the events, guys, with the attitude of, all right, let's see what we're going to learn. Show me what you've got right now. And then you expect this magical transformation to happen overnight and you're going to become Superman and go straight to IMD. Hello, wake up, okay? That's the job, the job of the training is to give you the 50%. The other 50% is the application of the knowledge that you acquired to go to the next level. If you come and get the knowledge and you didn't apply it afterwards, well, what do you expect to happen? People are going to magically call you and say, I want to join your business. So let me ask you this. If I'm speaking to whoever I'm speaking to, Maria, okay, I'll say, well, listen, every single training is different, and sometimes it's one training, one sentence that can change everything for you. And I want to share this with you. The View for me was my 4th big event. Before the View, I'd been to 3 other 2-day events, okay? And the 3 other 2-day events, to give you an idea, man, I got a lot of information, and my business started growing, but it wasn't crazy growth, okay? In fact, I had people in my team that were growing faster than me. I went to the View, and there was one character, and I still remember to this day, one character, one sentence that changed everything for me. And 34 days later, after the View, I hit director. 3 months later, I hit marketing director. So let me ask you something. Can you imagine if when I went to my 3 major events and the View was coming up, which back then was not $400, it was $800, and it was not in Europe, it was in Dallas, and I was looking at 2,000 pounds for flights. Can you imagine back then if I went, you know, I've been to 3 major events and I haven't felt any different, maybe I'll skip this one. I would still be working 80 to 100 hours a week in my job. So let me ask you something. If you feel comfortable sleeping at nighttime, knowing that there's an event that could help you to get that missing link, take it to the next level, that's cool by me. Your future is your future, okay? But you don't turn around and say, listen, I want to go be a medical doctor. I'm going to take 3 lessons. And if I don't have my medical degree after the 3rd lesson, that's it, no more trainings. You go to trainings until you get enough information in here to go out and create the results that you want. You stop going to training when your lifestyle every single month is beyond your wildest dreams, okay? And even then, my recommendation, I haven't stopped going to trainings, guys. You know why? Because every single person has another level inside of them. But the thing, here's what I would actually finish with. I want to finish off. There's people that you're looking for, and there's people that at some point you have to push by. If I feel like I'm fighting for your dreams more than you're fighting for your dreams, I'm sorry, I love you, let's go on dream trips together, but you're not the person I'm looking for right now. I'm going to go on to the next person because I'm looking for the person that is hungry to learn, that is hungry to grow, that I can link arms with, go to the View together and run like crazy afterwards or beforehand running towards the View to help you rise. That's who I'm looking for. Do you see the difference? So Guys, I believe we've covered all the major objections, but in terms of covering objections, the main thing is sharing stories, okay? I'll share a final story with you before I wrap things up. One of my favorite stories in our organization, Vatiare, IMD, I'm telling you, this lady should be double IMD by the end of the year. Amazing lady. Now, when she joined World Ventures, she didn't pay her rent because she used the rent payment to join World Ventures. This is before the crazy promotion, okay? So when someone comes in with a sacrifice like this, they're hungry to make their money back, okay? So she used her rent. Then when she had to go on her first dream trip, she didn't have the money. So you know what she did? Is that she actually went and created something like 200 chicken dishes and sold them one by one to raise the money to go on her first dream trip. And then she had to go on her first training. She didn't have the money still. What did she do? She sold her clothes. She literally went to a store and sold her clothes one by one to raise the money to go to training. Have money for a hotel, so they took their sleeping bags and they were sleeping at the airport every night. When the event would finish, they would go to the airport and sleep on the floor with her teammates. And I'm telling you, this lady right now is because she had the test. That's why she's got such a powerful testimony. Now let me ask you something. What if you're the next Vatiara? What if the only thing that's standing between you right now and your story is the challenge that you're gonna go through in order to get the money to come to this event so you can build your story? Are you gonna let a few $100s stand in the way of your dream? Guys, you gotta get good at challenging people, okay? So promoting, I wanna summarize. Promoting, use what people's goals are. Make the training the link between where they're at right now and where they want to be, okay? So that's 1. 2, edify the speakers. 3, share the details. 4, call to action. And of course, if you need to, overcome objections by sharing the stories. When you share the stories, go back to call to action. Get them booked. Now, when you're promoting links on Facebook and videos of the view and things like that, this is great, but this is informational. If I'm sending a video to someone, here's my message. Hey, check out this video. As soon as you've watched it, give me a call. I'm going to tell you all about it. This is crazy. That's my message sometimes. You know, I get the video to get them excited, then I give them a call, and I'm promoting if I can't get them face to face. So guys, here it is. This has been recorded, okay? So I'm literally gonna post this. Hang on, one more question. Every network marketing says the same. Well, let me ask you something. If they all say the same and you still haven't done it, what the heck are you waiting for? I mean, like, seriously, okay? If you're hearing the same message and your life has not changed, then maybe you need to hear the message one more time with fresh ears, and this time get your butt in gear in order to change things. So guys, I'm gonna post the recording later on. Share this with your team, okay? More importantly, remember, it's not the knowledge, but it's the application of knowledge that's gonna make the difference.